If the energy crisis gets worse over the next few months, many families may discover a hard truth. Having money does not always mean you can buy what you need at the right time. That is why today's video covers 12 items to stockpile right now, before everyone else starts looking for them. Last week, someone opened a hydro bill and went quiet. Someone spent the same grocery budget but brought home less food. Someone saw the lights flicker and wondered, what if the power stays out for 3 days? Crises rarely arrive with a loud warning. They show up through rising prices, slower deliveries, thinner shelves, and ordinary items disappearing once crowds begin to panic. Families who prepare early live very differently from those who wait too long. This video is not about fear. It is about staying ahead with simple, practical, affordable choices before item number 7 becomes painfully obvious. 12. Water filter. You can survive many weeks without food, but after only a few days without clean water, every preparation plan starts to break down. That is why item number 12 is not the flashiest thing on this list. It is not something people show off. It is a water filter. Simple, quiet, almost boring. But in a crisis, boring items protect families. Most people imagine a crisis beginning with empty shelves or dramatic news alerts. In Canada, it may begin much smaller. Water pressure drops. The tap smells strange. A boil water advisory appears after a storm, flood, wildfire disruption, or power outage. The lights go out for hours. Bottled water disappears from Costco, Walmart, Canadian Tire, and the local grocery store before many families understand what is happening. That alone can make a neighborhood nervous. During an energy crisis, unstable electricity can pressure pumping stations, treatment systems, supply chains, and truck deliveries. One adult generally needs about 1 gallon of water per day for drinking and basic needs. A family of 4 over 7 days may need more than 28 gallons at minimum. The problem is simple. Water is heavy, bulky, and used faster than people expect. People do not panic from thirst first. They panic when someone in the house asks, "Do we have any clean water left?" A water filter gives you something more valuable than a few extra cases of bottled water. It gives control. It can help with drinking, cooking, basic hygiene, mixing medication, caring for pets, and stretching the water you stored. Many good filters can remove sediment and bacteria at small levels, and some can process thousands of gallons before the cartridge needs replacing. After storms, floods, and wildfire evacuations across North America, bottled water often disappears quickly. The mistake is buying a filter and never testing it, or storing water without clean containers. A crisis is not the time to read instructions for the first time. Calm households prepare gradually. They buy one useful item while life is normal, not when everyone is rushing. You do not need to be rich to prepare. You only need to start earlier than the crowd. Today, a water filter may look like a small purchase. In a 48-hour water disruption, it may become the item no store can keep on the shelf. If water stops flowing tomorrow, will your home stay calm or start counting empty bottles? 11. First aid. Kit stop bleeding, reduce fever, clean wounds, cover injuries, check body temperature, and keep a small problem from becoming a family emergency. That is the real purpose of item number 11, a first aid kit. During an energy crisis, it matters more than many people realize. Most households prepare for outages with flashlights, power banks, bottled water, and food. But when the system is strained, a small accident becomes harder to handle. A cut from opening canned food, a fall on dark basement stairs, a burned hand from a camp stove, a fever at midnight when the walk-in clinic is packed. On normal days, those are inconveniences. During a crisis, they can send the whole house into panic. People do not panic because of a small cut. They panic when someone they love is bleeding, and they do not know what to do next. That is why this cannot be an old box with dried-out bandages sitting under the sink. It needs to be a real, ready-to-use kit. Clean gauze, adhesive bandages, antiseptic wipes, medical tape, small scissors, elastic wraps, burn cream, pain relievers, fever medicine, diarrhea medicine, a thermometer, gloves, and backup batteries for a blood pressure monitor, hearing aids, or glucose meter. In Canada, long storms, ice, wildfire smoke, flooding, and rural distance can all stretch emergency response. During an energy crisis, fuel costs can slow deliveries, crowd pharmacies, pressure clinics, and turn a simple problem into hours of waiting. Crisis does not always create new problems. It makes ordinary problems expensive. The mistake is thinking, I will buy it when I need it. But when everyone needs gauze, fever reducers, antiseptic solution, and thermometers on the same day, shelves clear fast. Another mistake is never checking expiry dates. A crisis is not the moment to discover the medicine expired 2 winters ago. A good first aid kit buys time. It lowers pain, controls bleeding early, reduces fever, calms emotions, and gives your family a chance to make better decisions before conditions worsen. Older adults understand this clearly. They worry about a spouse, aging parents, grandchildren, and the fear of becoming helpless at the worst moment. Today, a first aid kit may sit quietly in a closet. On crisis day, that small box may keep the whole home steady without rushing outside into a dangerous, overloaded, cold night. If someone gets hurt tonight, can your family handle it immediately? 10. Personal medications. You can eat simple meals for a few days. You can live through a power outage for a while. You can postpone many things when money, weather, or fuel prices turn against you. But for millions of older adults, being without medication for only a few days can turn one difficult week into a true emergency. Item number 10 is personal medications. It is not as exciting as backup power, not as dramatic as survival gear, and not something people brag about online. But in many Canadian homes, this is the item that decides whether life stays stable or starts falling apart. High blood pressure does not wait for delivery trucks to arrive. Diabetes does not care that the pharmacy is short-staffed. Asthma does not wait for the power grid to settle down. Heart conditions do not give extra time because fuel costs, storms, or supply chains are under pressure. Chronic illness does not negotiate. Most people imagine crisis as empty grocery aisles or long gas lines. For many older adults, it starts with one quiet question. How many pills do I have left? During an energy crisis, transportation costs rise, delivery routes slow down, pharmacies get busier, and some temperature-sensitive medicines face more risk if cold chain systems are disrupted. In rural Canada, northern communities, and storm-hit provinces, late deliveries can become more than inconvenient. They can become frightening. The biggest mistake is waiting until the bottle is nearly empty before refilling. On normal days, that is a bad habit. In unstable times, it means placing your health in the hands of luck. Another mistake is thinking only about prescriptions while forgetting pain relievers, allergy medicine, cold medicine, diarrhea medicine, hearing aid batteries, blood sugar test strips, backup reading glasses, and a written list of current medications. Medicine is not like rice. You cannot replace it with willpower. Older adults often fear becoming a burden more than they fear discomfort. They fear a child missing work to search for medication, or a small refill problem turning into stress for the whole family. Preparing medications is not panic, it is responsibility. If you take regular medicine, speak with your doctor or pharmacist about a reasonable backup plan. Do not stockpile recklessly or change doses yourself. Just avoid being helpless. Today, checking refills may seem small. If deliveries are delayed for 1 week tomorrow, will your family's health still be in your hands? 9. Power bank plus solar charger. Many people think a power outage only means the lights go dark. In reality, when electricity disappears, the first thing you lose is control over daily life. Your phone battery starts dropping. News stops reaching you. Maps disappear. Weather alerts may still be sent, but you may no longer have a charged device to receive them. When a phone reaches 3%, it is no longer just a phone. It becomes a countdown clock. That is why item number 9 is a power bank with a solar charger. It is not as loud as a generator, not as impressive as a full backup system, but in a Canadian energy crisis, it can keep a household calmer while others start guessing in the dark. Many people underestimate the phone. They think it is mostly entertainment. But during a multi-day outage, it becomes a flashlight, radio, emergency alert device, contact list, banking access, medical information folder, and sometimes the only way to call a child, neighbor, pharmacy, or emergency service. People do not panic when the lights go out. They panic when they cannot reach someone they love. In Canada, winter storms, ice, wildfires, flooding, rural distance, and fuel pressure can turn short outages into longer waits. Repair crews may be delayed. Replacement parts may move slower. Roads may close. A good 20,000 milliampere hours power bank can often charge a phone about 3 to 5 times, enough to protect communication for several days if used wisely. It can also support a USB light, small radio, mini fan, rechargeable hearing aids, or some small medical devices. The mistake is owning one, but leaving it drained in a drawer, buying a weak model, or waiting until blackout day to shop. By then, everyone wants the same shelf. A solar charger adds another layer of independence. Even slow charging is better than no charging when the grid is silent. One small source of power can separate preparation from dependence. Today, it may look like a simple gadget. During a 72-hour outage, it may become the difference between staying informed and sitting in silence with a dead screen. 8. White rice. White rice fills the stomach, stretches the grocery budget, pairs with almost everything, and stores far longer than most fresh foods. That is why item number 8 matters during an energy crisis. It is not exciting. It is not fancy. But when bills rise, deliveries slow, and families start calculating every meal, rice becomes the quiet foundation of the kitchen. Many people underestimate familiar foods. They see a bag of rice and think, basic. But basic items often disappear first because everyone understands them. During panic buying, rice, pasta, and noodles move quickly from shelves because they solve the same problem for millions of households at once. How do we feed everyone for less money? In Canada, that question becomes even sharper when fuel prices push up transportation costs. Winter storms delay deliveries, and unstable electricity puts pressure on fresh food, freezers, and cold storage. Crisis rarely begins with hunger. It begins with a higher hydro bill, fewer groceries in the cart, and the quiet feeling that every checkout trip needs more math than before. White rice works because it is simple. It is easy to buy, easy to portion, easy to cook, and easy to combine with beans, eggs, canned fish, vegetables, soup, broth, or even just salt. A large bag can create many meals, depending on serving size, and for families on fixed incomes, that kind of reliability is not small. The mistake is spending too much on snacks and convenience foods while forgetting the true calorie base. Another mistake is thinking, I will buy it tomorrow. When a neighborhood turns back to staples during one bad week, choices shrink fast. Rice also needs proper storage. Heat, moisture, pests, and open bags can ruin what should have been dependable food. With power, use a rice cooker. Without power, use a small gas stove. Either way, rice turns small ingredients into real meals. Today, it may look like an ordinary grocery item. If food prices jump next month, that bag may become the steady foundation you wish you had bought earlier. Does your home already have one ready now? 7. Water containers. Many people only understand the value of a water container after the tap stops running. Until then, it is just a plastic item sitting in a garage, basement, closet, or storage room. No one shows it off. No one treats it like survival gear. But when the water supply weakens, smells strange, loses pressure, or comes with a boil water advisory, that ordinary container suddenly becomes important. During an energy crisis, unstable electricity can affect pumping stations, water treatment systems, and bottled water deliveries at the same time. In Canada, that pressure can feel even sharper during winter storms, floods, wildfire disruptions, or long rural outages. People often think the biggest problem is losing power. In reality, Many households panic first because they lack usable water for daily life. Drinking, cooking, washing hands, basic hygiene, mixing medication, caring for pets, and keeping the home functioning. That is why item number 7 is water containers. A container does not create water. It preserves opportunity while opportunity still exists. If a storm warning appears, if water pressure drops, if the city issues a notice, or if the neighborhood becomes unstable, families with clean containers can act immediately. Families without them can only watch the tap run and realize they have nowhere safe to store it. Many people buy bottled water but have no backup storage. Others use containers that once held chemicals, containers with broken lids, or containers they never cleaned. Some leave containers empty for years, then discover leaks when it matters most. A full 5-gallon container can weigh more than 40 pounds, but helplessness weighs more when your home has no water left. Water containers create order. You can divide water by person, by day, or by use. You can separate drinking water from cleaning water. You can take water with you if evacuation becomes necessary. Older adults understand this. They prepare not from fear, but from experience. Today, a few clean containers may look like a small purchase. During a 48-hour water disruption, they may be the reason your home has options instead of worry when shelves are already empty. 6. Dry beans. By the 4th day of a crisis, many kitchens still have food. The rice bag is not empty. Noodles are still in the cupboard. A few cans remain on the shelf. At first, everything seems manageable, but the body starts telling a different story. People get hungry faster, feel tired sooner, become more irritable, and older adults may begin losing strength. Having food does not always mean having nutrition. A full stomach does not always mean steady energy. Families are not only afraid of an empty pantry, they are afraid of watching loved ones grow weaker while the kitchen still looks stocked. That is why item number 6 is dry beans. They are not flashy, not heavily advertised, and not the first thing people brag about buying. But across generations, beans have carried families through hard months when budgets tightened and choices disappeared. If rice keeps the stomach calm, beans help the body stay strong. In Canada, an energy crisis can raise fuel costs, pressure livestock production, slow refrigerated transport, and make meat, eggs, and dairy feel expensive very quickly. At that point, reliable protein becomes the real problem. Dry beans answer that problem directly. They cost less than many protein sources, store well, and can feed a household when used wisely. 1 cup of cooked beans can provide meaningful protein plus fiber, helping people feel full longer and reducing constant trips back to the pantry. The mistakes are simple: buying snacks, but no real protein, storing beans in damp places, or never learning how to cook them before a crisis. Beans can become soup, stew, chili, rice bowls, or a soft meal for someone tired. Today, a few bags may feel cheap. In a hard month, they may become the food that keeps your family strong, fed, and steady. 5. Headlamp. A power outage does not make a home dangerous simply because the rooms become dark. It becomes dangerous because life does not stop inside that darkness. Someone still has to find medication. Someone still has to help an older adult get to the bathroom. Someone still has to check the breaker panel, look for keys, comfort a frightened child, or walk through a hallway filled with normal household clutter. Only one thing has changed. You cannot see clearly. That is why item number 5 is a headlamp. It is not exciting. It does not look expensive. It may hang quietly in a Canadian Tire aisle, a hardware store, or a camping section and seem almost forgettable. But when the power goes out, it gives you something a regular flashlight cannot. 2 free hands. 1 hand holding a flashlight cannot safely support a spouse. 1 hand holding a flashlight cannot carry a grandchild. Open a first aid kit, or steady yourself on icy steps. When the light is on your head, your hands go back to doing what they are meant to do. Many home accidents during outages are not dramatic. They come from missing a stair, bumping into furniture, slipping on a wet porch, or searching in a drawer while tired and stressed. In Canadian winters, darkness, cold floors, and icy entrances can make small mistakes more dangerous. Experienced people do not only ask how bright a light is, they ask how long the battery lasts, whether it is comfortable, whether it is easy to find, and whether extra batteries are nearby. The best light is not always the brightest. It is the light that works exactly when someone needs help. Today, a headlamp may look small. On blackout night, it may keep your family moving safely, calmly, and in control at home. 4. Mini gas, canister slash portable gas stove. The kitchen is the heart of a home. Many people do not realize that until the kitchen suddenly goes quiet. No sound of boiling water, no smell of rice cooking, no hot coffee in the morning, no warm meal helping the family settle down after a stressful day. That is why item number 4 is a portable gas stove and a few backup gas canisters. When the power goes out, you lose more than light. You lose routine. Food may still be sitting in the pantry, freezer, or cupboard, but without a way to cook it, much of that comfort disappears. Having food does not always create peace of mind. Having a way to prepare it often does. A small portable stove can boil water, cook rice, heat soup, prepare oatmeal, make tea, cook noodles, or warm a simple meal for someone who is sick. For older adults, children, and families facing cold weather, a hot meal provides more than calories. It brings comfort, familiarity, and a sense that life is still functioning normally, even when conditions outside are not. In Canada, winter storms, ice events, flooding, and long power outages can affect entire communities. The common mistake is waiting until outage day to buy fuel. By then, everyone is looking for the same item at the same time. Shelves empty quickly, and simple equipment suddenly becomes difficult to find. People who prepare well do not rush during emergencies. They buy practical items during normal times so they can live with dignity during difficult times. A portable stove may look like camping equipment today, but during a multi-day outage, it can become the most useful item in the kitchen. It does not make you wealthier. It does not eliminate every problem. What it does is help your house continue feeling like a home. If the power goes out for 3 days starting tonight, will your kitchen still function? Or will it simply become a room full of food that cannot be turned into a meal? 3. Instant noodles. There are days when people do not need the perfect meal. They need the meal that shows up fast, hot, and without asking too much from a tired household. That is why item number 3 is instant noodles. When life is normal, people criticize them as cheap, salty, and nothing to be proud of. But when power becomes unstable, routines break, the house feels cold, everyone is tired, and the grocery budget is tightening. The standard for a meal changes quickly. At that moment, luxury matters less than speed. A little water, a small heat source, a few minutes, and dinner is on the table. That may sound simple, but during a Canadian outage, storm, or fuel price shock, simple can feel like relief. A hot meal is easier for older adults to eat. Children settle down faster. Adults feel like the day has not completely beaten them. Sometimes family morale is not saved by a speech. It is saved by food arriving on time. Instant noodles are flexible too. Add an egg, vegetables, canned fish, beans, leftover meat, or broth, and they become the base of a real meal. The mistake is preparing only foods that require time, fuel, and patience. Crisis steals all three. Today, noodles sit quietly on lower supermarket shelves. Tomorrow, they may help your family eat, settle down, and sleep when everything feels harder than usual. 2. Hand sanitizer. Crisis is rarely the moment when people starve first. More often, families are worn down by smaller problems. Dirty hands before preparing food, an upset stomach at the wrong time, a fever moving through the house, or one sick person when clinics and pharmacies are already crowded. That is why item number 2 is hand sanitizer. It is small, cheap, and easy to underestimate. Many households buy bags of food, cases of water, batteries, and canned goods. But forget the simple bottle that helps protect all of those supplies from careless handling. In a Canadian energy crisis, when water pressure drops, pipes freeze, storms interrupt service, or every liter has to be used carefully, hygiene is no longer just a habit. It becomes a first line of defense. A bottle can sit by the front door, in the car, near the kitchen, beside the bathroom, or next to the medicine box. Each use takes only seconds, but it may prevent a chain of problems that lasts for days. Wise families understand this clearly. Getting sick on a normal week is inconvenient. Getting sick during a crisis is expensive, exhausting, and stressful. Today, hand sanitizer looks ordinary on a store shelf. During a water shortage, it may disappear before food does. It will not solve every problem. It simply helps stop small mistakes from becoming bigger problems inside your home. If the water supply becomes unstable tomorrow, does your family already have its first line of defense ready? 1. Lighter/matches. The final item is the cheapest, and often the most forgotten. Many people can spend hundreds of dollars on stored food, power banks, water filters, and emergency gear, then get stuck because they cannot create one small flame. That is why item number 1 is a lighter or matches. Modern life has trained people to press a button and expect heat. A stove turns on. A furnace starts. A kettle boils. But during a long outage, especially in a Canadian winter, that habit can become dangerous. Without fire, it becomes harder to cook food, boil water, start a small camp stove, create temporary light, or bring warmth back after a cold night. A lighter costs very little today, but when the system goes quiet, it may become more useful than items that looked much more impressive on the shelf. Do not underestimate something small just because it is cheap. Many big preparation plans fail over tiny missing details, not because there was no rice, no canned food, or no money, but because there was no way to create the first flame. The older generation understood this. They did not call it prepping. They called it common sense. Keep one lighter in the kitchen, one in the garage, one in the car, and dry matches stored safely away from moisture. Small cost, high value, especially when every other option suddenly disappears from nearby store shelves. If everything stops working tonight, does your home have a way to create the first flame? Crisis rarely arrives with a loud explosion. It usually arrives through higher bills, delayed deliveries, colder nights, thinner shelves, and small daily tasks suddenly becoming harder than they should be. That is why preparation does not need to look dramatic. You do not need to buy the entire list today. Just add one truly useful item each time you shop. A water filter, a first aid kit, extra medication planning, a power bank, rice, beans, a headlamp, a portable stove. Small items build a calmer home before the crowd realizes they are late. Panicked people buy on bad days. Wise people buy gradually on normal days. Out of the 12 items today, which one is your home missing the most? Leave a comment below. If you want practical videos that help Canadian families stay stronger during uncertain times, follow this channel. Preparation is not about fear. It is about protecting people you love.